Alright, hey guys, what's up? Welcome to ETSki Tutorials, and yeah, I'm late. So, yes, just a few minutes though. So this is the live Q&A regarding game development and Unity 3D. So, welcome everybody who is in the live stream. How's everybody doing today? I can think precise my question. How did you make RPC buffer? I'm not sure. Okay, it looks like he's talking to somebody else, so I don't know if that was a question for me. But yes, how's everybody doing today? I actually forgot to make one of those announcement videos. Actually, yes. Hello everyone. I wonder if there's a way I can go on YouTube and just send a message to everybody. I thought there was a way you can do that. I'm actually going to multitask right here and see if I can do that and see if we can let everybody know about the live stream. Because according to the numbers, it looks like we're actually missing some people that are usually here. But that's alright. A bunch of people showed up, which is totally awesome. And yeah, does anybody have any questions or topics for game development or Unity 3D? Let's get this conversation rolling. Let's talk about video games and how to make them. I'm trying to think if there's anything as far as video games that's been going on in my life lately. Just having supper, sweet. The Glowworm Games is multitasking right now. Have I used Playmaker? No, I have not used Playmaker. And I have noticed a lot of people talking about Playmaker lately, especially on my video that what was it? C# versus JavaScript. A lot of, or actually, I don't know. Well, one person commented on that, asking about Playmaker, which I guess is a very appropriate place to ask about Playmaker because we're talking about an alternative to coding here. So yeah, has anybody here used Playmaker? I actually never have used it, so I don't know quite how advanced it is or what all the different things you can do with it. I assume that you can't do quite as much as shouldn't ETSki be showing up soon? I did. But anyways, I don't know if you can do quite as much stuff as you can in actual real code. But I mean, I assume that like if you're, I mean, well, if you don't like code, you don't like code. That means basically you're an artist. So if you want to focus on the art of your game and you can't find a good programmer to work with you, I'm guessing Playmaker is probably a good alternative, and then you can just do like, you know, simple things. Like, I don't know, I mean, I guess I'm thinking like, what if like a combination of Playmaker and Rain Indie and an FPS kit that would pretty much, like, if you wanted to make a first-person shooter inside of Unity and still have a lot of customization over it, that would give you like everything that you need. I think, I don't know, but once again, I've never used Playmaker, so I can't tell you everything that it's capable of. I assume that it's like UDK's Kismet, which I have seen games completely built off of that, such as Cube, which is an example I use all the time to describe Playmaker and visual scripting. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on Playmaker. So let's move on to another question because I don't have too much to say about Playmaker. How is Project Recoil development going? It's going good. I actually haven't touched it for the past few days, unfortunately. Well, excuse me. I haven't touched it for the past 1 or 2 days. But it's going good. I'm thinking I'm definitely gonna. I think I've decided that I'm gonna keep it just a one-man team sort of project because my whole goal is to create everything as efficiently as possible. So I don't know, it's kind of like, I mean, the theme of the game, or like the idea of the game, is that you're inside of a computer and you're fighting off computer viruses and stuff like that. So I think it's appropriate to have code be a really main focus, and I'm trying to use code to create everything as efficiently as possible and try to make everything like flexible and like be able to like I really like creating code where like I create the code and I have like one script, like let's say we're talking about a gun or an enemy or something along those lines. And then I like to create my code in which a way that I can just edit it in the inspector in like multiple, like say like I want to put the same script on 3 different enemies, and then I use just variables inside of the inspector and just set things up and create a workflow in which I can create like 3 really crazily different enemies that all use the same code, but so are all based on the same architecture, but are like totally different. I'm really trying to create code like that, and I'm also trying to not only do that in just the behavior of how the game plays, but also how the game looks. And I'm trying to create artwork like that, where I can edit some variables inside the inspector and just give the game a little bit of a different look in every level. So that's pretty much where it is right now. And I think my next step is I want to redesign the AI, because in the alpha that I released there really wasn't any real AI. So I think I'm going to redesign the AI and create some real AI. And I don't know about real AI. It's going to be kind of simple AI. But yeah, that's kind of like my next step. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to do with that, but anyways, having issues with collision direction on 2 rigid bodies. Rigid body ball falling through a rigid body. Oh, I think I actually do remember seeing your project. Actually, if it was, I think I remember seeing the video. It was like a ball maze and the ball kept falling through. I actually don't. I've given that some thought, and I actually couldn't figure out what the problem was. Maybe, oh no, here's an idea. What if it looks like the maze itself, you're tilting the maze based on like just rotating the transform. So what if you froze the position of the maze and then left its rotation free? Well, actually, no, you probably want to freeze the rotation around the y-axis, and then rotate around the z and x-axis using what is it? Rigid body dot add torque, I think. So you're adding like rotation momentum to the rigid body that way. Because I think when you like edit the transform directly, it kind of makes the 2 meshes move through each other. Whereas if it's based upon adding force to the physics, I don't think that will make the meshes move through each other. So you could try that. Have you used 2D toolkits? I haven't. No. Yeah, I haven't. I haven't actually ever made any 2D games. I have Prototype Recoil, which is a 2.5D game, so it plays like a 2D game, but it's technically 3D. What state would you prefer? Wait, what kind of state would you prefer a show your work to be in? I like the web player demos. I think that's the most fun. But I mean, if you're showing off artwork, pictures and videos do perfectly well. So, but yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to continuously just evolve the show your work live stream. Maybe eventually move it to like the forums or something. But yeah, that's still kind of like a show that I gotta figure out how to host and how to keep it running smoothly. Because last week, I mean, it was fun and everything, but it was poorly organized. So I think there could definitely be some improvement there on my part. I gotta improve things and make sure this whole system show is working. How can I stop my bullets from going through colliders? I think they are too fast. They need to be fast. They are rigid bodies. Yeah, that's the problem. If like, well, for Prototype Recoil, I am using rigid bodies on my bullets, but I don't have fast moving bullets. I actually make sure that all my bullets move slow enough that they don't go through walls. That is just simply going to be a problem when you're using rigid bodies and you're trying to make them move like at the speed of a real bullet. Don't do that. Use a raycast. Or, I mean, if you want the, arc of the bullet and you want gravity drop on your bullet, you're just going to have to fake those physics in code. I do have a tutorial on how to do that. It's RZTuts2. So that's one way to do it, and you can expand upon that system farther. But yeah, fake it through code if you want your bullets to move at realistic speeds. Don't you're probably going to have to do multiple raycasts a frame and do like iterations of how far the bullet has moved, all in one frame, because you just can't use rigid bodies for that, because the rigid bodies will just go through walls once they get above a certain speed. And pretty much if they are above a speed of the diameter of the collider per frame, if it's like above that speed, it will start going through walls. I guess one quick fix that could potentially maybe fix it a little depending on your game is to go to Edit, Project Settings, Time, and then make the fixed time step variable a smaller number. But then you're going to have to readjust like your add force functions and how much force it adds to the rigid bodies and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much my answer to that problem. Do you know a tutorial to develop a card game in Unity? No, I do not. One thing that you might find interesting, and this is not a tutorial, but what's it called? Angry Gods? I want to say it was called Angry Gods. Let me look it up real quick. It was by Wolfire Games, so I'm just going to search Angry Gods. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, Wolfire Games. It had gods in the title, so let's just type in gods. Here it goes. Desperate Gods.
Last week, Aubrey and I participated in another...
This game looks really cool. I believe it was made in Unity 3D. I heard it somewhere that it was made in Unity 3D. I hope I'm correct to assume that. But if it is, this is a really cool design idea by Wolfire Games, and this was made in a game jam, I believe. I want to say he said 2 days, but I don't know. All the information is in this video. But the whole point of this is that it's an online board game, and I assume it would work just as well. Actually, I don't know about for a card game. I assume it could possibly work for a card game too, but mainly is targeted towards board games. But the whole idea is that it's most video game versions of board games nowadays, like it feels more like moving through a menu, like an elaborate menu, as opposed to playing a game. And what this guy said that he loved about real life board games was the interaction and the communication and stuff like that. So basically he made it so that there are no physical rules. Like, you have to play by an honor system. So this game is meant to be played with like 2 people who know each other in real life, because if you want, you can just grab something on the board and using real physics, you can just knock everything all over the place and decide to completely disregard the rules. So that's really cool, and I think he made it open source, and I believe it's in Unity, so you can turn it into whatever board game or card game that you want if you can get it to work with a card game. I assume shuffling the cards might get a little problematic. But let's check the Twitter, because there has been an interaction that I have been ignoring for a while. But it's from It Hurts, and he says, when people want to show their code, you should tell them to post it on this site, pastebin.com. Okay. I guess we'll check it out. I don't think I've heard of pastebin.com. I'm guessing this is kind of like Imager, but for text. Maybe. Seems like it. Simple enough. Well, I guess, yeah, that looks like a good website to recommend. I'll have to test it out and really see what it can do. But yes, thank you for sharing that. All right, where are we on right now? Trying to see if there's any questions that I missed. What's add time frame? That sounds interesting. Oh, a bunch of people just jumped into the live stream. Yo, punch the keys. Oh, that was Godman, or I mean, yeah, Godman GM. That's Martin from the live stream yesterday. How's it going? And yes. Well, I don't see any questions or topics. Or wait. Well, I guess let's take a look at this. We're having some collision issues. Is this a video? Okay. I think that's an ad. I don't think that is a collision issue with your video game. So, don't know what that is. Oops, do I need to scroll down? Yes, I do, sort of. So yes, I guess I might as well open up. Oh, no, this is something else. I was taking a look at Rain Indie. Trying to learn that system. Let's open up Prototype Recoil. No, that's Robot Zombies. Here we go. Prototype Recoil. And where did I put the scenes? There they are. Let's go ahead and maximize that. Show that off a bit. That's sort of like a weird matrixy thing going on. I don't know if it's... Click the maze game button. Oh, okay. I guess let's go back to that website. So, click on this. Go back here. Apparently there's a maze game button. Ah, way over there. Okay. I see. Yes, I would... Yeah, I remember this project now. So, I would assume that if I only move very, very slowly, that I shouldn't have the ball go... or the ball shouldn't go through the maze. But if I move it quickly... Oh wait, we're in the center. So I need to get to one of the edges where the maze is actually... or where the actual polygons of the maze are going to move more. So if I move it quickly, it goes straight through. So yeah, I would try to convert this system to like an add force. Or... Can you change the direction of gravity? Edit, project settings, physics. Yes, you can. Up here. So I assume that you can adjust that in code too. So yeah, if you go to Edit, Project Settings, Physics, you can see a variable called gravity. Let's actually open up the Unity scripting reference and see exactly where we would go. So runtime classes, I'm just gonna look for, I'm gonna guess it's under Physics. Physics, gravity, physics.gravity equal, okay. So yeah, maybe you should do this instead of rotating. Oh, wait. Let me see. All right. So maybe you should do this instead of rotating the transform of the maze. Maybe you could just rotate the position of the camera. Well, I guess you would. All right. What you could do. All right. Make the camera a child of an empty game object that is located in the very center of the maze, and then have that object rotate and have the camera always just looking at it. That way you still get the effect like the maze is actually tilting, but really you don't want to move the transform of that maze at all. And then you just change this variable to be, just change it to oh, you could just have it equal camera dot forward. I mean camera dot transform dot forward. And then that would give you the gravity in the direction that you need. You might want to multiply that variable by 9.8. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that would work. And then that, I think, would solve your issue. So I guess that would involve a little bit of recoding of stuff that you've already done, but I think that would solve your issue. Oh, I gotta scroll down on the chat. Set the ball as a child of the maze. I might have to disagree with you on that. Physics tend to kind of get messed up a little bit when, well, only if you have a rigid body game object be a child of another game object, it's problematic if the parent game object moves. In which case, the way that the maze system is already set up, the transform does move. So that would screw up the physics. So in this case, I don't think that would be a good idea. You could just add force to the ball, and yeah, you could definitely do that. Guess I might as well pull this back open while we're waiting for some questions to roll in. So yes. Let's see, what gun did this do? Oh yeah, this is the one that I didn't really like. This was a new gun that I made. I kind of like this gun though. The like split around corners gun. I made this gun in a live stream sometime during this week. But yes. So yeah, I got to work on figuring out. I mean, really, I really got to work on coming up with a vision for this game and like really figuring out like how I want it to play and all of like the rules and like the development plan, because I have a very vague idea and I really need to I really gotta focus it and clarify exactly what I want to make with this game and exactly how I want it to play and what kind of game I want it to be. Like the whole time I was kind of thinking I want it to be like a challenge game where each level is just a challenge. I've also played with the idea of making it more adventurous and making like, you know, a plot, but that I think that's way too much work. I think I'm going to keep the plot as simple and minimalistic as possible, and then just have many levels that I can interchange and put in whatever order that I want, and just have them be challenge levels where you just got to beat challenge, challenge, challenge. Kind of like Super Meat Boy, or actually I've never played They Bleed Pixels, but I think They Bleed Pixels is kind of a similar idea. And yeah. Okay, I'll ask again in case you missed it. What other languages are you familiar with? Okay, I did miss this. What other languages are you familiar with? What's your time zone in GMT? Well, my time zone is EST. So I believe in GMT it should be, I want to say it's like 9 o'clock in GMT time right now, 9:30. I could be wrong. But for how long have you been working on Prototype Recoil? Let's see. Well, I released a video where I released the prototype, or the first alpha, whatever you want to call it, where you're playing as the pill capsule. I probably started development on this game about 2 to 3 weeks before that video. And yeah, see the Twitter, Etski. Man, it doesn't say that I have any new interactions. Has anybody else been tweeting me and they're not showing up? This is really problematic, because I thought that Twitter would be really reliable, and it seemed to have been in the past, but for this live stream and the last live stream, it seems like people are trying to tweet me and they're just not showing up. But am I familiar with any other languages? I wouldn't say I'm familiar enough to say that I am good at those languages. Like, I know the tiniest bit of HTML. I plan on learning C# in a live stream sometime in the future. I've worked with a little bit of BASIC before in the past. That's pretty much it. So mostly JavaScript, Unity JavaScript. Oh, Anders, what I meant before was how playable does your work have to be on the Show Your Work live stream? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be playable. Like, let's say it was a web player demo that has really zero gameplay, and maybe it's just a rotating camera just to show off some artwork. You could show that off. Really, what I'm thinking is it has to be to the point where you're proud of it and you want to show it off. That's really what it comes down to. It doesn't have to be, I don't know, I don't really have any concrete requirements. It's just like, if you're proud of it, then show it off. That's pretty much it. So only guns with recoil is enough? I don't know what you're saying. Are you asking about like melee? And I was thinking about adding grenades. I'll experiment with that. I don't think melee would really fit in this setting. I mean, there could be a very, very short range gun that could be the equivalent of melee. I'd be cool with that. But I think like actual melee doesn't really fit in the engine, and I don't think it would add too much to this particular game, so probably won't add actual or any melee really. Maybe a short range gun though. It is 3:30 for me right now. This is what I was trying to show you. Can you tell me how I can switch scenes without triggers? Well, I guess let's check it out. Yeah, that's weird that that wasn't showing up in the Twitter. I wonder if it has something to do with there being a link to Dropbox in there. Choose your language.
I never thought that my uncle's house was haunted.
What? Alright. This is interesting and different. So what was the problem again? Trying to switch scenes without triggers. Okay, what does that mean? I don't even know what that was. Alright. Where are we going? Something gonna pop out on me? That was pretty good. Okay, is this the switch scene part? I don't know what you mean. How to switch scenes without triggers. Well, if you wanted to switch the scene right here, are you saying you want to switch scenes when you walk up to the door and press E? I mean, it really doesn't matter whether you use a trigger, whether you use a variable, whether you use just a button on the keyboard, or whether, I mean, it can be anything. I mean, really, you're just looking for an if statement, like if this is true, then application dot load level next to level, pretty much. Yeah, so I mean, you could just basically like if vector3 dot distance player dot transform dot position comma door dot transform dot position is smaller than openable distance and input dot get button down E, then application dot load level whatever the next level is, or however you want to keep track of how you're switching between your levels and what level to go to next. Hopefully that answers your question. What's he saying? I can't hear. Is anybody else having problems hearing me? Muting live stream until game is over. But that game didn't really have any audio in it. Well, I don't know. I guess. Oh. No wonder it didn't have audio in it. I didn't have my headphones on. I'm an idiot. Let's try refreshing it. I want to see what the audio in this game is. Oh wait, no, I do remember hearing the audio.
I never thought that my uncle's house was haunted.
Yeah, no audio. Huh. Okay, well, I have no idea what we're talking about, so let's move on. Oh man, screw Twitter. I gotta find a new system besides Twitter. Twitter seemed like it was so good. Why did it change? Why did it break? Ugh. Alright. ETSKI, do you use a GDD, game design document, at all? Not sure if it's better to draw one up before starting a game. I have a habit of designing and coming up with ideas and gameplay as I go. Should I consider using a game design document? Well, a game design document. I have like I usually don't complete a game without at least writing something on paper. Whether I start work on the game before I do that. I mean, usually I'll like, most of what I'll do is I'll like, sometimes I'll draw out maps. Sometimes I will just list, like I just need to create like a list of like, here's all the guns and here's what they all do. Or maybe I gotta list out all of the sound effects that I'm going to need. And usually a lot of my game design documents are really just lists on scratch pieces of paper that are just thrown around the place and usually forgotten about and not really, you know, they're usually just pretty messy. And I do a lot of making it up as I go and keeping it all in my head. I don't know if that's necessarily the best way. I think finding the right balance, because the advantage of keeping it all in your head and making it up as you go, it keeps what you're doing, it keeps your work a little bit more organic, I guess, and a little bit more like it can adapt and change as needed. more than if you have it all written down on paper. Um, but at the same time, things can get really, really messy if you don't write it down on paper. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it really depends on what works best for you. I don't, like, I mean, for me personally, I write only a little. Like, there might be some people who don't write at all, and there might be some people who have to write everything out. I guess it really depends on how your brain works. I think that's probably what it comes down to. Yatiski, what do you think about a whip for your game? So like Castlevania? Hmm. I think it would feel out of place. Maybe a whip gun. Maybe. I guess possibly. Have you decided when you're doing the C# live stream? I still haven't decided when I'm gonna do that. I think that I've worked out what my live stream schedule is going to be. I have it written down on a piece of paper somewhere. But I'll be announcing next week's live stream schedule, and if that week goes well, and then I will make that probably the official live stream schedule. And then, yeah, I really got to find time to do that C# live stream, because I've been planning it and mentioning it so much for a long time. So I really got to get to doing that. Any other questions? I can't tell if I missed any questions. Alright, also, what time is it? Oh, well, we've only been going for 40 minutes. We got a lot accomplished in 40 minutes. Usually these live streams are like, it's like an hour and a half over time, and I'm like, whoa, I don't even know what I did. So, anyways, you should also make a game from start to finish on live stream, and every step is live streamed. That'd be kind of a cool idea. I've been doing a little bit of that. I mean, not every step, of course. But with Prototype Recoil, I've been doing that lately, and I'm planning on doing more of it. Where I just, like, for like an hour a day, I just turn on the live stream and just do what I was going to do anyways, and just let you guys watch and talk to you guys while I work on the game. So, but also I want to do some game jams, like get a small team of 3 or 4 people together and make a game in like 3 or 4 hours on a live stream, maybe multiple live streams depending on who I team up with for that particular game, mini game jam. So that would be a start to finish, show every bit sort of thing. I was also thinking about live tutorials. I'm just going to throw this idea out there and see what your guys' reaction to it is. But I was thinking about continuing the FPS1 tutorials, but only live, and keep it strictly live and do, like, I don't know what the schedule of it would be and how often I would do it. Probably would be depend on how popular it is and how much demand there is for it. But I was thinking about kind of like making it up as I go kind of tutorials, because I think the FPS1 tutorials are extremely sloppy anyways, so might as well make them more sloppy. I mean, all this architecture is already there, so might as well just build off of the sloppy architecture and make it more sloppy and just do wacky, crazy things on a live stream and kind of make it up as I go. And I mean, the whole thing would be really messy, but I wonder if people would want that or find that kind of a series interesting. Do you think Unity 3D is capable of an MMORPG? Most definitely. Absolutely it is. There have been a couple of MMORPGs that I have heard of. I can think of 2, but I can't think of the actual names. But I know that there's this one, like I've seen like Total Biscuit play it. It was like at like PAX or E3 or something. And it was like a legitimate, It wasn't AAA. It was still indie, I believe, but it was like a legitimate, like mainstream MMORPG, browser-based game that was made in Unity. And then there was this other one that's in development right now. I can't remember the name of it now. It was from some foreign country. I also can't remember what country it was from. Was it Gyro? No, it wasn't Gyro Vorbis. No, Gyro Victitious, something like that. But yes, that Unity 3D can definitely do an MMORPG. Wait, oh, there's a second part of that question I didn't answer. It's capable of making a great MMORPG. In case you ask, what do you mean by great? Great means whatever it means to you. It can mean a lot of different things. But I'm going to move on to the next question. How can I turn my character into a ragdoll without just replacing it? Yes, you don't want to just replace it, because that would pretty much, like I've seen this before in games, it pretty much would make your character go into a T pose, or whatever the default pose is, and then they fall to a ragdoll, and it looks not realistic at all. And actually I have a tutorial on this. Somewhere inside of the FPS1 tutorials. I can't remember exactly which one, but I have a tutorial on that. It's a character that's built up of cubes, but you should be able to use the same system by just changing the bones, and maybe you could do something along the lines of like say if you're using a skinned mesh character, which most likely you would be for a ragdoll, you could just have the bones like, actually no, you would want to add colliders to the bones of the armature of your character, and then you would add rigid bodies, and then you would add a whole bunch of joints. You'd probably want to use character joints. I know Unity has a way of setting up a ragdoll on a humanoid character, so it will make all the joints for you. So that would be useful. And then once you have all that set up, just have all of the rigid bodies be set to is kinematic equal true, or just the little checkbox that says is kinematic. And then you would just through code you would want to go through an array of all of those rigid bodies that are all of the different body parts of the character, and then just set is kinematic to false. And disable the animations, and it should pretty much be a ragdoll. And once again, if you want more information, there is a tutorial on my channel. I guess I'll find it in case you were unaware of it, or have no idea where to go to find it. And if I can just resize this window, thank you. We're going to go to my channel, and then it is inside of the playlist FPS1 tutorials. And let's find it. Gun recoil, inverse kinematics, AI ragdoll, and bullet force. So FPS 1.41 is the one that you're going to want. So yes. When do you think AAA game developers will use Unity for more than mobile games and web browser-based games? Once they are not AAA anymore, pretty much. AAA game studios are probably, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I don't think it'll be ever. I think AAA games are going to die before they start using Unity, because, pretty much they have, like, within their team, they have a sub-team that is dedicated to building an engine out of C++. And the thing about AAA games is that AAA games do not change. They do not take risks. They do not try to do new things. They may try to trick you and say, hey, we're doing something totally new. This has never been done before. But it's a AAA game. It's the same as every other AAA game. Not every other AAA game, but they don't ever create anything new. It's ever like, even when they say that they're creating something new that's never been done before, they're lying. They're exaggerating. And that's the same thing goes with their techniques. They're not going to change up their techniques. Like, all AAA games are, not all, but let's just say the majority of AAA games are pretty much set in stone C++ engines. And they want to build up their engines from scratch. And, I mean, if they have the budget to do that, that can be an advantage, to have an engine that is custom built for your purposes. That's pretty cool. The only problem is that they never do anything cool with that. Tribes guys will be sad. Oh yeah, I forgot that a lot of AAA studios use Unreal development kits. So I guess that would be the exception. And CryEngine 3 or CryEngine 4, whatever they're on, that doesn't count because it was made for Crysis, the game. So the CryEngine was made for Crysis. So I don't think any other studios use the CryEngine that aren't Crytek? I don't know. But yeah, that's my little spiel about AAA games and whether or not they'll ever use Unity. Sega uses Unity. Oh yeah, what was that one? I started with an R. Requisites? I don't know. Is it in my bookmarks? I'm pretty sure I bookmarked this. It starts with an R. No, I didn't bookmark it. Alright. Unity game phone. Unity game. What was it called? It started with an R. But yeah, it was like a AAA looking game. I believe it was made by Sega. Does anybody in the chat know? Doesn't look like it. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. What was it called? They should have chose a different title, because it was a weird word that started with R, and I simply cannot remember what that word was because I never have used that word before except for when describing that game. So that was an unfortunate title of a game. Close to finish. Oh, is the live stream close to being finished? I guess. Yeah, I was kind of planning on it going for an hour, so that means we got about 10 minutes left. Let's see what this is. Oh yeah. I remember, I've seen this project before. Oh, this has come a long way since I've last seen it. Actually, I don't know if I have seen this. Maybe I have not seen this. This actually looks quite advanced. Wow. There's a lot going on in here. There's a lot going on in here. Dang. This looks really interesting. I'm going to have to keep my eye on this. Torque doesn't work. Force doesn't work. Gravity doesn't want to work. Huh. Oh, okay. What's this? Let's just... What are we looking at here? Design, code, and art, Total War battles. Is this just an example of what the Unity engine can do? I don't know. So yeah, I don't know if we want to just sit here and watch a really, really long video. Sega. Oh, you mean this was made by Sega in the Unity 3D engine? Oh, I see. This is what Sega did. Maybe it was a different company I was thinking of. I really want to find that game that started with an R. It was really cool. It was something about like it was a mobile phone game. I think it was meant for just phones and not necessarily tablets. Because the idea was that it was like this it was supposed to be like this immersive story where the whole idea is you really are playing as yourself, as a guy holding a phone, and you're communicating with this other player, this like woman that you have to help her, and there's probably a more elaborate storyline. Oh yeah, that's right. Wasn't it by the same guys that made Metal Gear Solid? Who made Metal Gear Solid? I don't know. It was some guys that were from the Metal Gear Solid team made it. And like I don't know, it looked really cool. It was all AAA graphics. It was made in Unity and like you had to yeah, it was like you're using your phone to hack security cameras and stuff like that and yeah. Does Unity have soft bodies? Probably not like Unreal's. No, no. I think you can get soft bodies in there. Check out the asset store. I think there's some mesh deformation tools on there that are pretty cool and probably will fit your needs. But me personally, I don't know how to do that. If you make a small indie team, what would you call the team? That's a good question. I would probably let the team help decide on the name, and I don't think I would come up with it on my own. Yeah, I can't think of any good team names. I think it would also depend on the team. And if we're talking about a mini game jam, I don't think you need a team name. I guess you could come up with a team name just for fun. But I mean, really, if you're doing a mini game jam with 3 or 4 people, you would just list the 3 or 4 people's names and say, hey, this was in a mini game jam on a live stream. Check out the video. Have you seen the game Euro Truck Simulator 2? I might have. If so, what do you think of it? And also, could you make a driving simulation game in Unity? You can create anything in Unity. Are you asking me personally if I could do it? I'm sure I could if I really put my mind to it. How good it would be, I don't know, because I'm not a huge racing game player, so I don't know if it's quite as built into me and built into my player instincts to know how a racing game should work. Oh, you were talking about the new Watch Dogs game? No, I was not. The new Watch Dog game for PS4, that's something totally different. That has way better graphics. I mean, well, they're actually almost they're the same style of graphics, but of course, Watch Dogs is better because it's for PS4. No, the game that I was thinking of, it definitely started with an R. Man, what was it? It was such a weird word. Why did that company choose that name? It's probably out by now. I was actually looking forward to playing that. Sim 17? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. And we do have some questions coming in, but they are in Spanish. You know what? I'm gonna Google Translate you. All I know is that whatever you said starts with and. Google Translate. Google Translate. Google Translate. I'm gonna find out what you said. To English. Aha, you said, no arches. I am a pedophile or a scene assassin, but telling me how old you are. Okay, we're not talking about game developments. Itiski, can you tell me what you think of my game, the scary one, the one that I just played? I think that definitely had a good start. Was it the one jump scare, the first one where the guy pops out right in your face as the actual 3D character? I wasn't expecting that one. I was expecting the jump scare from the painting. I thought the environment was interesting. It was a nice change up from the dark and dirty normal scary game look. So it was nice that it looked different from that. Though I don't want to say that it being bright took away from the scariness, because I don't think it necessarily needs to be dark to be scary. But I wasn't scared at any points. Also, are you planning, like, where are you planning on taking that game? Like, are you going to implement any gameplay? Because right now, it's pretty much just walk through the hallway and jump scares. Which it's cool, but I don't know if I would call that a full game. I think, like, you really want something for people to, like, sit down with and really be entertained by. And I mean, it really depends on what you want to go for. Like, if you want to go for a short experience and you just want people to play with it and you just want to get a reaction out of them, then that will be what you want. But if you want gameplay and you want, for it to really be a game, then you're going to need to implement some game mechanics. So yeah, that's what I think if we're talking about the right game. Finish that ragdoll system. Wow, just during the live stream? We got a wizard. Alright, click his wave, apparently.
Here comes the super streak.
Here comes the boom.
Here comes the, y'all don't really.
Don't know what that is. Alright, run and press K. Nice. It looks like that. Who modeled that? Somebody was really lazy and didn't put anything up this guy's skirt. But, nice. Can I do that more than once? No, I guess not. But cool. That was awesome. You got that working, like, just, like, during the live stream. That was crazy. Oh, I found the game you mean. Secret Agents? I don't think so. No. This is not. Well, I don't know what this is. How come I can't pause it? But yeah. I think I remember seeing that wizard from the asset store. I've definitely seen it in more than one place. I've seen a lot of people use it just for like a testing placeholder. Trolls are still cool in this day and age. Oh, them trolls. Them trolls. The plural version of dat. I can't believe I just said that. I hate dat. Like, dat game. Or, like, what do you say when it needs to be plural? Those games. Those physics. Ruffle. Ruffle, ruffle, ruffle. Dose. See, yeah, that's the thing. Like, you'd have to put an E on the end, otherwise it'd be DOS? DOS games? I still want to know how to emit rigid bodies from an emitter. Do you mean physical rigid bodies from a particle emitter? Like, or are you looking for just a rigid body effect? Because, well, I'm not 100% sure about the, was it the shuriken particle system? Like snow. Yeah, use, I think it's just a matter of like one variable. Or maybe it's a component. Let me open up Robot Zombies. It's in there. I will show you in Robot Zombies Alpha 6. Open. Can you add force to particles? I think you can. Yeah. You can make them move in a certain direction. I don't know if you can do it through script. I mean, there might be a way. I mean, there's a way to do a lot of different things, and whatever you do. Alright, scenes. Let's open up scene 2. Alright. And let me find... What am I doing? Let me find the particle system that I'm looking for. Anyways. Bullet holes. Bullet hole. Okay. So let's move to a place where I can test this out. And I think my guy's going to spawn over here, so might as well use this. Alright, there. Let me actually move it down. There. There we go. So this is what happens when you shoot a wall in my game. Actually, it's going in the wrong direction. It should be going, I believe, in this direction. Yeah. Or maybe this direction. Let's test. Nope, this direction. Should be going, it should be like that. So this is pretty much how my bullet holes work. And as you can see, these little particles are bouncing off of colliders. But they actually, wait. Can you see that? Yeah, you can pretty much see that. Let me make it a little small, or let me make this window just a bit more better sized so that we can see. Okay. So you can see the they're bouncing off of colliders, but they're not actual rigid bodies. So like it's not like you could have an object in your game get like knocked backwards from getting hit by one of these little particles. They're just an effect. It's just the way they look. So they're not actual physical rigid bodies. But let me go into the actual particle system. Okay, it looks like I have more than one, so it doesn't matter which one, but let's take this one for an example. And World Particle Collider. That's what you need. So let me resize this a little. And let me click on that. So you want this component, the World Particle Collider. And let's see if there's anything else you need. Everything else is pretty much standard. Yeah, just your ellipsoid particle emitter, or whatever particle emitter that you want to use. Your particle animator, just a standard particle animator. Your particle renderer, just to make sure that you can see your particles. And then your World Particle Collider. And then your material. So that should pretty much be all you need. Just add a World Particle Collider and that's it. And then I guess you can adjust the variables to make it look a little different, but yeah. So let's get back to the chat. Might as well let that just run in the background. Let's see what I missed in chat. Why am I making so many weird sound effects during this live stream? When Wait, when are you going to make a Unity 4 Mechanism animator tutorial? It's very interesting. It's a very interesting thing. It'll be awesome if you make this tutorial. I should do that soon. I don't know if there's really... Well, I need to come up with an example project. I'm thinking... I don't know actually what example I want to use. I think I'm just going to download some free assets from the asset store and maybe... I don't know, really? I gotta come up with an example project. That's the main thing that's slowing me down, and something that I didn't want to do yet because that's work. But yeah, that's something I definitely want to do. Okay, let's see, where are we? Hey, Etiski, want to check out my A-Star project out? I know it's a Q&A, but just finished it. Sure, I guess. Might as well take a look at it. Got no more questions on the Twitter. What time is it? Alright, we're 10 minutes over the 1 hour mark. Sharemyview.com. Oh. Huh. It's just a Dropbox link. I don't know what that was. Load anyway. And I gotta turn that off so that you guys can see it. A-Star pathfinding controls. Click and hold, create walls. Right click, change the start position. Change the end position. Enter key, start pathfinding. Escape key, exit to menu. Instructions, red squares, unwalkable area. White squares, walkable area. Green square, start position. Blue, end position. Yellow, the path. You have the right to click on start or end. All right, let's just click on it and just see. Okay. So you click and drag. So I'm creating walls. And let's try to really confuse your AI as much as possible. Though, whoops, I'm guessing it's not possible. Oh, found it. So that's pretty sweet. So now you should be able to take this code and apply it to any kind of project. No path. Click to reset. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be able to trick your AI. What was it? White was walkable areas. Okay, yeah, that's right. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a great way to just figure out the background code to create like just a simple, a simple test. I think that's definitely a great way to get your project organized and like figure out what you want to do, is to create like multiple prototypes and just figure out, like, if you come up with an idea in your head, figure out like, okay, how am I going to get this aspect of the game to work, and how am I going to get this other aspect of the game to work, and create them in their own projects, kind of like what I just played, where just things are simplified and you're only focusing on one single thing. And then you either merge those projects together or just take the knowledge that you gained from building those two projects and then start a new project. And that's a great way to get your project rolling and figure out what you need to do and that kind of stuff. Where do I get that world collide thing? Let's see. Component effects, legacy particles, world particle collider. That's where you get it. So if you're using Unity 4, you go to Component, Effects, Legacy Particles, World Particle Collider. And if you're using Unity 3, actually I think you still do that, because I think the Shuriken particle system was implemented in Unity 3.5. So yes. A tip for anyone interested in threads and optimization. Etiski, you don't need to open this in the live stream, just putting it out there. Okay. You know, I'll click on it. I know I don't need to, but I will. Oh yeah, Project Null.
Hello and welcome. Today I have nothing to show you, but you may ask yourself, why am I putting up a video then? The reason is
actually
because
I am really interested in how Project Null continues, so I'm going to subscribe to this.
And I'll be going through all the details and the learning experience I have had during this week. First I will go through the different ways of dividing code between different frames. One way is using coroutines. Proves it's easy to work with. It divides the code between frames. The negative is that it only runs in the main thread. Separate threads, is good because...
Okay, this actually brings me up to a question that maybe, who is it? Norit42 or Joanne Holtzby. Maybe you could answer this for me. But in Prototype Recoil, I was looking for a way that I can scale the physics and the fixed time step. Do you know if you'd be able to do that through threading and optimization? Or is this on... Oh, wait, no. Threading is CPU, isn't it? Or can you thread it like GPU functions? Because I believe all the physics are done on the GPU. Because what I'm looking for is ways of changing the fixed time step without changing like how much force is added to things. Because when you change the fixed time step, it changes like the add force functions and stuff like that. Compute shaders is GPU. Oh, okay. What books on dev tech do you read? None. I get all my information from the internet. Yeah, I don't think I've ever read a book. Books aren't, you know, up to date enough for me, I think. I mean, of course, you know, there's lots of things that you can learn from books, but it seems like for the amount of time that it takes to write a book and get the book published and get it printed and get it out to people, you know, by the time it's actually in people's hands and they're reading it, that information is already a little bit old. And then once the majority of people read that book, and not just the first couple of people, like once you start like getting down the line, then that book is old, and then, you know, really depends on the book about whether or not the information is still relevant. But I don't know. It's just me personally. I just like getting all my information from the internet and experimenting with my own projects and kind of figuring it out myself. And that's just the way I like to learn. Because yeah. So Etiski, you don't know C#, but tell me if you want the source code. Oh, I know you don't know C#, but let me know if you want the source code. I'm gonna watch this video later and really analyze it, and I'll message you if I do. But yeah, I don't think I'll need it right now because I don't really understand it all just yet. So, yeah, I'll let you know. I mean, I got your YouTube channel. I'll be able to find you. I would like the source code. Oh, and thank you. I don't think I said thank you for offering me your source code. Yes. Well, what time are we at? All right, we're about 15 minutes over. Does anybody have any last questions or things they wanted to talk about before I end the live stream? Because I think I'm going to get to work on a few things. What do I need to work on today? I got some graphic design I got to do for all my like website stuff. So yeah, look forward to a new redesign of everything Etiski tutorials. Or at least I'm going to try. I don't know when that's going to come out, but that also won't, that'll just change the look of my website and my YouTube and all of that stuff. So that won't be Are there free animated models in the asset store? Yeah. I believe there's got to be. But there are definitely free animations, which I think are usually attached to models. Like I know Unity actually put out like a bunch, like hundreds, if not maybe thousands, I can't remember what the number they threw out there was, of just motion captured animations. And with Unity 4 new animation importing system, you can, and I believe it's done through Mechanim, you can retarget those animations to any humanoid character. So you could essentially get a free model and these other motion capture animations and combine them together, and then you haven't spent a penny, and now you have a free animated model. So answer is yes, I guess. Try to make a mesh emitter, but I don't know how to make it work. Mesh particle emitter. I don't know. Take a look at the Unity's documentation on it. I think you can probably click on the little help symbol and it'll probably take you right to it. It should be pretty simple and straightforward. I haven't used it in a while. I know that you need to make sure that you assign the same, like you might need to make it a child actually. I don't know if you can have a mesh filter and a mesh renderer and a mesh particle system all in one game object. But if you can, I think that's how you would do it. I can't remember. I haven't done it in a while. When are you doing another tutorial? I need to get back to my tutorials soon. I think a big thing that's been slowing me down with tutorials is I don't have any like tutorial series where I take the tutorial from last week and add to it. Like I don't have any tutorial series like that going on right now, which I think is slowing me down from coming out with tutorials. But I do want to turn Prototype Recoil into a tutorial series. Don't know when I'm going to do that. Now I'm starting to lean towards I want to try to create that at the same time as I'm working on it so that they'll kind of release simultaneously, maybe. What was the longest time you ever spent to resolve a problematic problem? A programmatic. Oh, a programming problem. That's a good question. Let's see. I did an inverse kinematic tutorial in my FPS 1 series. That took me about 2 or 3 days to figure out. It was like 2 days to figure out. So I don't know if that was necessarily a problem because I didn't even attempt to do it on the computer until I had it working on paper. So that took me a while to figure out, and then really what it came down to is just finding the right geometry equations on the internet and just converting them into the code that I needed. Trying to think of if I ever spent a really long time trying to fix something. I don't know. A lot of my stuff is like ongoing, and I do a lot of like redesign if a problem is too big. Like if I'm getting a huge problem, and I mean really if you're getting a glitch that is just slowing you down like by a matter of days or even weeks, then you need to redesign what you're doing. Like that's a good sign that what you're doing is being done wrong, and there's a better way to do it, and you got to find the better way to do it, and hopefully the better way to do it will give you less potential glitches. So yes. All right. Well, we're about 20 minutes over the 1 hour time length. So I think I'm going to end the live stream here. So tomorrow I will be releasing a video, hopefully coming out with, I will come out with the new or with at least this upcoming week's schedule. I don't know if it will be the official schedule. Kind of got to test run it and see if it works, but I like this new schedule better. I think it'll work better for both me and hopefully a lot of people out there. So yeah, I'll be releasing that video tomorrow. Actually, well, here, let me grab the paper and let you guys know. There you go. All right, I haven't decided what's going to be going on the weekend. I'll let you guys know in the video. But as far as the next few live streams for the weekdays, oh, sorry, I keep burping. It's basically every live stream is going to be Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the way that it is going to go is that on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to be doing just showing you guys my desktop while I work on whatever it is that I happen to be working on, whether it's prototype Recoil or robot zombies or whatever it may be that I want to get some work done on that particular day. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, I will be playing a game on a live stream. Probably Tribes or maybe Blacklight. Most likely Tribes, because I've been having a lot of fun with Tribes lately. Or maybe Binding of Isaac, because I got that game, and I'd rather play that game on a live stream because I don't know how to play it, and I think it'd be fun to have people in the live stream tell me how to play it while I'm playing it. And yeah, so, or graphic design. Yeah, well, actually, with the graphic design, I kind of want to do that a little bit in private first before I release it. I don't know. I just sort of want to do that on my own and get it to the way that I want it before I release it. Also, I've created a new logo. I don't want to run the risk of somebody copying my logo before I get it out there in enough places for it to be my official logo. Play a multiplayer with us. It would be cool. Mostly a free one that everybody plays. Those are the ones that I play too, so that works out. But yeah, I have installed on my computer. Actually, I think I need to update PlanetSide 2. But I got Tribes Ascend, PlanetSide 2, and Blacklight Retribution. And yeah, so those are the free games, free multiplayer games that you can definitely join in and play with me. We've done it in the past before, and it was a lot of fun, so I say we keep doing more of it. Yeah, I did want to play some Blacklight and get into that. Oh, Team Fortress 2. Yeah, I might as well download that. That's a good classic game. I remember when I played that game, I really liked being the scout. It's just I couldn't play any other player, but then again, I didn't play it very long, and I think I played it on the Xbox, which I don't really like first-person shooters with a controller anymore. But yeah, since Team Fortress 2 is free. Oh yeah. And what was it? Black Ops 2 is now free. So we could play some Black Ops 2, guys. I actually have no desire to play Black Ops 2. From all the footage that I've seen, it looks so boring. I mean, sorry to Black Ops 2 fans out there, but it's just not my game. I mean, if you enjoy it, more power to you, but it's just not something that appeals to me personally. More weird sound effects. Okay, I'm gonna stop doing that. All right, you have a good evening too, Glowworm Games. Why do you think it's boring? Just because it, like, alright, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to visualize Black Ops 2, and from all the gameplay footage that I've seen, there's so much of, like I've gone over this in a live stream before, but it's they don't give you any creativity for the player. It's like the game was designed for you. Oh wait, Black Ops 2 free until 3 hours ago. Oh, it costs money now. Oh, I missed my window of opportunity. Darn. Anyways, but it just looks like it's like they designed the game so that there's one way to be good at it, and pretty much that one way is to just be really quick and twitchy and shoot the other players in the head, or actually in the center of their body, because headshots don't really matter that much more than just center of mass shots in that game. And like from all the footage that I've seen, I've never seen like anything that was like, whoa, that was really, really interesting. It was more of just like, you shot that guy before he shot you, and then he shot you before you shot him. And don't forget about knife shots. Oh yeah, the ballistics knives. How is that cool? It's a gun. It's a gun that shoots one bullet, and might not, and might move a little slower than the other bullets. How is that different? It's and even tactically in real life, that would be the stupidest weapon ever. Just use a real gun. I don't know. Like, I disagree with you. Because you haven't played every past Call of Duty, and Black Ops 2 is not different. Yeah, that's the impression that I got from that game. Like, it just, I mean, I've heard, I mean, I don't know. I guess I really can't say about the campaign. I've heard the campaign is silly and fun, but the multiplayer, it just looks so, like, why would you care? Like, I think if you really want to play like a good multiplayer first person shooter and get really competitive about it, I'd say Counter-Strike Source is better. Maybe, you know, I mean, from what I've seen of Counter-Strike Source, I don't know much about Counter-Strike, what is it, Global Offense or something like that. I assume that that's very similar to Counter-Strike Source, but from what I've seen of Counter-Strike Source, like, that's a pretty good competitive game. But like from what I've seen of like strategies that people use in that game, it's more of like really, really precise, planned out things. But I don't know. It seems like there's a lot more that goes into Counter-Strike, but it seems like there's still like a ceiling of who can move faster and do different things faster. Whereas Black Ops, it's pretty much who can do this one thing the fastest, and that's shoot. Just shoot people in the center of their body, and then once you get enough kills, you press a button, and then there's an explosion on the other side of the map, and there's a chance it'll kill some of the other players, and then it's known as a kill streak or something like that. And I don't know, it just doesn't sound fun to me. I think they improves graphics too much and less gameplay. I don't know. The thing I hate about like all modern military first-person shooters is that they all look the same. They all have the exact same style. Like, the thing about modern military first-person shooters is that if you take a look at like any of them, like most of the time I'll look at them and I won't know which one's which. They all have the exact same style. Like, one might technically look a little better. It might have a little better shaders, better textures. It might be just for whatever reason it looks slightly more realistic, or the guns were crafted slightly better. But I mean, when it really comes down to it, they all have the like almost the exact same style. And there's like no creativity. Like, I feel like all of the art assets in that game were, like, with the exception of maybe some of the newer, like, super technically advanced, whoops, my computer went to sleep. Some of the super technically advanced, like, weapons and vehicles and stuff, and robots and whatever. Like, with the exception of those, mostly everything in there just looked like busy work. It looked like the artists were like, oh, now I gotta make this. Like, here's a list of everything I gotta make. And there was no like, oh, I'm excited to create this really creative thing. I don't know. I'm gonna stop this rant. I think yeah, I think I've ranted enough on this. So, yep, I will see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I'm going to be working on making some games. And yeah, and I will also be releasing a video tomorrow announcing the official schedule for this upcoming week. And then we'll do a test run of that schedule and see if that's the schedule we're going to stick with. So, yep, see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in to the live stream. This has been fun. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. And until whenever I see you next, keep making games. And bye, everyone. This happens every time. It always freezes me and my face looks dumb. You're going to take a really long time this time? Alright, thank you. Finally. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Keep making games.